Yo, thank y'all for tuning in once again. Y'all already know what time it is. And I have some very valuable information for the ones it benefits. All right. And so the main idea of this video is to explain the power in you, so to speak. Right? For the ones of us that understand that life as we know it is all about energy, whether it's in frequencies, vibrations, chemical or whatever. It's just energy. It's all about energy. We understand that. Feelings and emotions, whatever. We know it's all about energy. And energy is basically the power to do. The power to do something. Like I just moved my arm. It took power to do that. And that's exactly what we're about to get into today. Just on a basic level, I'm going to give you guys enough for you to go into your own research. You understand? Because it's a university. The professor ain't doing all the work for you. He's just going to give you let you know where to go, and you just go. I ain't trying to conform nobody. I'm already convinced in my own mind about what's going on. You see? And I continually build on that. All right? But like I say, the main idea of this video is to put a stake on the claim of this energy thing, right? And what's interesting about it, in the same video, I will be explaining about how we are the spacecrafts. Now, I know this may sound far-fetched or crazy or whatever you want to call it, but believe me, I am nowhere close to a pseudo, even though I am an extraterrestrial. Hey, you ain't looking at nothing but my avatar. I was sent from somewhere else. And if I told you, then I'd definitely be a pseudo. But yeah, I'm gonna explain to you guys in layman's terms, like I say, to where it won't be pseudo by the time you finish listening. If you understand what I present. All right? So, first things first, I'm gonna talk to you about the energy in your body. And explain to you, not explain nothing, but give you an avenue to go down. Check this out. All right. What we have here is a muscle spindle. Okay? As you can see at the top, the title says, the brain controls the muscle spindle's responsiveness. Okay? I don't like to run when it comes to information because dealing with your mind is dangerous ground. It's like your body, it's like you running on dangerous ground, right? Your brain, your mind is running on dangerous ground. And if you slip and fall, you could die. So that's how I approach my information. Very cautiously. You understand? Because I'm doing this for me. I'm teaching me. And in the process of teaching me, if you happen to catch something, then you catch it. But for the most part, I'm not going to lie to myself. You understand? All right, so let's do it. I said all that to say, I'm going to slow down on the title. That's what I'm trying to say. They say the brain controls the muscle spindles, responsiveness, right? So now we know what the brain is. Now that we know that the brain controls things, we're supposed to understand that the brain controls the muscles. But I don't think we really quite understanding what that is. We know, and let's say we do know the brain controls muscles. But do we know the function of a muscle is dealing with the spindle of it, the muscle spindle? Everybody move their muscles all the time, but do we know how muscles actually work? And that's what gives you the strength, the ability to do work, right? So how does your muscle or muscles give you the ability to do work? All right, so we're talking about responsiveness. So muscles responds to brain's control. So your brain controls your movement. Okay? So let's read the pink part first. It say, muscle spindle afferents respond to stretch on the membrane. Okay? The first thing I want you guys to notice, excuse the background if you can hear that, but the first thing I want y'all to notice is that it appears to be a serpent. It appears to be a serpent. So when you do your research, go check out things. If I don't been to told you, if we don't run across the information, go check out what afferents are. Okay, but your eyes can see. Of course, you can figure it out. You can make it out. But I want you guys to catch two things off the bat. That the muscle spindle afferents looks like a serpent. And the whole muscle looks like a spaceship, a UFO, so to speak. I know I ain't lying. So I don't even need nobody to vouch all day long. That's a spaceship. As far as what I know one to be. So it let me know. Ooh-wee. So they got people thinking about real spaceships and all that there. And the whole time they could possibly, right, be talking about your muscles, the power to do, energy. I don't know. But then we know everything that's in us becomes re-engineered or reverse engineered in reality. So are there UFOs and spaceships and all that that's using the technology of our muscles to power themselves? I'm just throwing it out there. Even though I'm just staying with the fact of that This is the spaceship, which is your muscle. But I can't leave out the idea and say, hey, it can't be possible for someone to reconstruct or put together another spacecraft or whatever the case. I don't know. We got airplanes that fly in the sky. So I can't absolutely rule it out. But that's a familiar idea. But this, however, is not. The muscle spindle. Now, let's read the blue on the left corner of the pink picture. It says gamma motor fiber. Gamma motor fiber. For the people that's familiar with the light spectrum or hence the electromagnetic spectrum, we understand that gamma is a form of energy. So I'm going to keep that basic. Go check out gamma energy. Okay? Now, I can't actually make out what the yellow part is saying, which is unfortunate. But at the bottom of the picture, of the pink picture, the left and the right are contractiles. That means it contracts, it pulls and release. In the middle is non-contractible. It's non-contractible. It just responds to what's being done to it. Now, at the bottom of the picture, the left part where it's talking about the gamma motor, it said gamma motor, neuron axon, controls contraction of the intrafusal fiber. The intrafusal fiber. Okay? The intrafusal fiber. So now y'all see what that is. Intra is an important word. I can't remember exactly what it is, but yes. Check them out. Check those individual words out. Hey, be like, what is intra? What is fusal? Stuff like that. Give yourself more clues about how you work. You know, hey, understand, this is talking about how your muscles work. You understand? So now, to the right of what I just read, it says contractile ends of the intrafusal muscle fibers. Contractile ends of the intrafusal muscle fibers. Okay, so it's letting you know, like the little dots that you see on the right and left, like the points, those are the gamma motor fibers or the gamma motor neuron axon. Okay? But the end itself, the line, so to speak, that is placed on are the contractile ends of the intrafusal muscle fibers, which y'all understand already. So now, let's go further to the right and read the words in black. It says, the muscle spindle is stretched by lengthening of the muscle. The firing, right, that lets me know a spark of energy of the afferent fibers in response depends upon the tension on the central part of the intrafusial fibers. Okay? It depends upon the tension or intention. Okay? Your intention dictates your tension, so to speak. It's like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to grab? How fast are you trying to run? How slow are you trying to walk? You know what I mean? The muscle, your brain is going to pick it up and it's going to send that response to your muscle to act accordingly. So it's basically like a law of attraction, so to speak. The more energy you put into something, the more you get out of it, is what they say. See what I'm saying? You get what you put in. So if you're contracting at a higher rate or a more effective rate, because hard work don't always equal more results. It's effective work, because work is mental or physical. And we understand work is always mental and physical. You can't do anything without thinking about it. You understand? But you could talk and not do nothing. You understand? So that's the faith without works is dead. I can show you my faith by my works, but you can't show me your works by your faith type thing. All right, so let's go to the other part of the blank. So it's a contraction of the intrafusial fibers via gamma motor neuron firing. Okay, so the gamma motor neuron is doing the firing. Sets the tension on the central region of the intrafusial fiber. So the gamma motor neuron sets the tension. It lets you know how much to contract or not. They say this control is governed by input to the gamma motor neurons from the brain. Okay? So now I just gave you guys a quick rundown on how your muscles work. So let's see what else I got for you. So now, this is going to kind of explain the afferent and everything like I was talking about. So it's a intrafusial muscle fiber, which we know is the same thing as a muscle spindle. But the middle part, the serpent aspect of it, appears to be the afferent. Okay? The string that you saw coming off of the other picture. See, this part right here, the blue part on the left where it says gamma motor fiber. It's the motor neuron. See? Y'all got eyes, y'all can see. So they're explaining how it works. So it's stretched out. Boom, the muscle is stretched. Then it says passive muscle shortening with no fusion motor drive. Okay, so my bad, I didn't read the right part. It say stretch lengthens central and polar regions of the fiber, right? The stretch lengthens central and polar regions of fiber. And then it says shortening causes fiber to fall slack. Shortening causes fiber to fall slack. Now, you know how people say raise the kundalini and all this kind of stuff for the boys that's familiar with that kind of terminology and all that. The ones that are subscribed to all that. Which we know it means raising your energy. Straightening out your spinal cord, so to speak. You know, like having a strong backbone. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, when they say they're raising their kundalini, what they're actually doing is stretching it out. So it's, instead of it being crooked, it becomes straight. Ooh, that's deep. Ooh, that's deep. When you in non-use, when you're not using yourself, using your vessel, you become crooked in every aspect of your life. But when you start to work, you begin to strengthen yourself, which is to stretch out. And when you go to sleep, is when you start to slack again. It's when you release. All right, so let's go to another picture. Because I'm basically beating a dead horse right now. It's a control of the gamma motor system, 3Z motor system. Gamma signal excited by the bulboreticular facilitatory area of the brain stem, right? So it said the gamma signal excited by what? The bulboreticular facilitatory area. Everybody know what it means to facilitate something, right? Carry something out. Area of the brain. So the area of the brain that facilitates is the bulboreticular, how you can say it, right? Bulboreticular. Y'all understand how to say it on your own. Secondarily, by areas that send impulses to this area. So it's letting us know how the system works. All right, so it says secondarily, right? By areas that send impulses to this area. So the things that send the impulses to the bulboreticular is the cerebellum, the basal ganglia, the cortex, and the cortex. All right? The cerebellum is in the back of your brain, at the bottom. The basal ganglia, if I'm not mistaken, is located on your brain stem. And the cortex, which they didn't say the prefrontal cortex, but I would imagine that's what they're speaking of, is the front of your brain. But again, don't necessarily quote me on that, because they didn't mention prefrontal. Now, they say little is known about the precise control of this system. Key. Now, out of all the information that was given to y'all, understand, they really do not know how you work. They really don't know how we work. So the idea is to gather all the information or all the clues and cues that they have out there and configure it into a truth. Whether it's a truth, the truth, you know, it don't matter. How can I put these pieces together in order to create something to manifest my dream inside of my dream? You can't do what you don't know. Can't do what you don't know. If you never knew you had legs, how would you go? I know that's a far-fetched ideology. But if you never knew what a car was, how could you imagine one? If I told you what a tree was and you never saw one, how would you know what it is? Huh? How do I describe a butterfly to you if you never knew what wings were? Or colors? Or bugs? Or insects? How do you explain it? So sometimes explaining insightful information, insightful information outside, supposedly, right, to someone else will always come back void. Because you can never tell your insight. You can never show your insight. That's why it's insight. It's the sight that's in me. It's my perception. Everything in front of my face is my sight. It's my interpretation. It's my vision. Everything is in sight. In the line of view. And all insight is the inner sight, the inner seeing, the inner being, the inner doing. Which is the outer doing. Everything you're doing outwards is being controlled from the inward power, which is the energy, the power to do. You know? So we just really take the step back. Step off the whole field. The game. Step out of the game. And understand it ain't no players. You're playing by yourself. It's like we done tricked ourselves thinking that we playing in the game with other people. When the whole game in town is you. How to mend yourselves together to become one. body, soul, and spirit. I know many people may think the soul and the spirit is the same. In actuality, it's not. The soul is in between the body and the spirit. Now, does that make sense? And the soul's responsibility is to mend the spirit with the body. But first, the man must be able to listen to the soul and adhere to the soul. But in order to do that, the soul must know the spirit. If that make any sense. I ain't really trying to lose y'all. And once these three become one, that's when you become man. Or an enlightened one, so to speak. The whole man. Which is feminine polarity merging with the masculine polarity. Activating your enlightened existence. As it did, as happened when your mother and your father and your dad became one. And gave birth to light, which makes you a star. Because all things we see is only light. Energy is light. So all there is light. And yes, I want to emphasize that T, because we know T is the cross. And T is me. I am the intersection, the anchor. I am that rock being pulled back on the slingshot. Holding down all my weight. You understand? You know, excuse me for going on and on, you know? Because basically, this presentation is over. I think I got one more slide for you though, which I'm definitely not going into all of this. But that's why I say, go do your research. Even though I think I did a good job of explaining what I mean already. But for the most part, we are dynamite. When you get to looking at images and stuff like that of the muscle spindle, you'll understand that we are dynamite. Nuclear bombs. See? Let's read from left to right. Contractile fibers, we already know about that. Static gamma. Anybody know about the static? You know what I mean? The silence. That's basically the static, like on your TV. With no signal, you know, got to apply a signal to the static. right? But it says static gamma. Then we got dynamic gamma. Okay? So we got two systems. See it? Pay attention to what they're showing, what it's attached to. And then it says type afferent. Okay? And type 2 afferent. Okay? You got 1, you got 2. And you got dynamic nuclear bag fiber. Dynamic nuclear bag fiber. Dynamic gamma, which is on the other side, right? So that should be easy to catch because everything on the right side is on the left side. So y'all should know what those are already. Then you got the static gamma and the contractile fibers again. All right? So even with with the dynamic gamma, so the main thing is different, right? It's the top law afferent and the type 2 afferent. So that means they do different things, so check them out. At the bottom, well, in the middle, it says static nuclear bag fiber. So that's where it's a bag, they call it. A static nuclear bag fiber. That's where the actual action goes down at. You know what I mean? Where the transfer of the energy happens. Okay? You see they're saying muscle fibers at the bottom. Nuclear chain fiber, right? At the bottom. You see what they're pointing at. Pay attention to all that. Right? They say intrafusial fibers. The term intrafusial fibers refers to the muscle spindle to differentiate it from the extrafusial normal muscle. Okay? It's a fusimotor system. The fusimotor system refers to the muscle spindle. It's afferent, efferent, and specialized muscle tissue, which we already know what they're talking about when it comes to the fusimotor system. You know? So yeah, most definitely, man. I really appreciate y'all checking me out as always. And it's definitely been an honor to be able to present this information to myself. Because that's who I'm doing it for. I'm just being honest. Being given the power and the opportunity to document the history. Because as we speak, it's definitely history. I didn't make the video right now. I made it back then. It's just another jewel to drop on y'all, man. All right, man. I get with y'all. Peace.